Imagine loving someone so deeply that your own peace depends entirely on their healing. At first, it might sound like the ultimate act of love, sacrificing yourself for someone you care about. But in real life, can we or should we tie our happiness entirely to someone else's well-being? Let's see what Rumi says about it. Hi, I'm Masi, reviving ancient Persian wisdom to enrich our modern lives. A king goes to extreme lengths to heal a handmaiden. In the full story, which you can find on my channel by clicking on the link in the description, the king falls in love with a handmaiden who falls ill. In his desperation, he gathers doctors from all around the world and expresses his total devotion and concern for her life. These lines capture his intense love and willingness to sacrifice his own life for hers. When the best physicians from all around the world gather, the king says, "I care nothing for my own life, because her life is my life. I suffer, I am weary, and my remedy lies in her recovery." In real life, we experience the same pattern. When a loved one is suffering, we lose sleep, feel stress, and our own peace is disrupted. We pour all our energy into healing them, but often it leaves us frustrated and exhausted. This deep empathy is natural. It's a reflection of our heart connecting with someone we love. But why does it sometimes turn into a suffocating trap? And what happens when our own well-being depends entirely on someone else's healing? First, let's see why we fall into this trap of tying our own peace to someone else's. Often we grew in environments where love meant responsibility, caring for a parent's emotions, calming conflicts, or being the fixer. That script follows us into adulthood. Sometimes our self-worth gets wrapped up in being the rescuer. If my loved one feels okay, I feel valuable. If not, I feel like a failure. Deep down, we may believe if I stop helping, they will leave me. So we overextend ourselves, not out of pure love, but out of fear. It feels safer to think, if I just do enough, I can fix this. But this is an illusion. It is their journey, not ours to control. The result? Every struggle they have becomes our suffering. Their setbacks feel like personal failures, and instead of love bringing peace, it becomes a source of exhaustion and pain. So when our past wounds, fears, and need for control push us into this pattern, the bond no longer feels like love. It feels like survival. And that has real costs. Let's look at what happens when we let our peace depend entirely on someone else's healing. The consequences of emotional entanglement. When our state of mind is tied to someone else's healing, here's what it can create. Loss of personal boundaries. You might feel, I can't be at peace unless you're okay. It sounds caring and noble, like love at its purest, but in practice, it ties your inner world to someone else's ups and downs. Healthy boundaries mean, I am responsible for my emotions and you are responsible for yours. When you blur this line, you unconsciously say, my well-being depends on what you do. This shifts the relationship from with each other, which is interdependence, to inside each other, which is entanglement. When this happens, you lose your independence of mind and heart. You no longer have a space for your own healing, needs, and rest. And the other person may feel pressured, even if your intention was love. So instead of saying, I can't be at peace unless you're okay, say, I care deeply, I support you, but my own inner peace is also my responsibility. Let's see what it might look like in real-life situations. A mother stays awake night after night worrying about her son's job interview. She may think, if he doesn't succeed, I will never forgive myself. But the reality is she cannot attend the interview for him. She cannot answer the questions. She can't own his future. And here's what she can do. She can encourage, offer resources, and keep her own balance to be strong enough to be supportive. The second thing the emotional entanglement may create is hidden control. You may think, if you get better, I will finally feel better. On the surface, it sounds like deep empathy, but notice the hidden link. Their healing is being made a requirement for your peace. Extreme worry can sometimes disguise a subtle form of control. The unspoken message is, you must heal so I can stop suffering. Even if you never say it aloud, the other person always feels the pressure. In these circumstances, the loved one may feel suffocated or guilty, and instead of healing for themselves, they may feel forced to heal for you. This can backfire, making them resist help or hiding their struggles from you, just to avoid disappointing you. Imagine a wife whose husband is battling anxiety. She tells herself, if he goes to therapy and improves, I can finally relax. And every time he cancels a session, she reacts with panic, anger, or silent disappointment. So he starts feeling, I'm not just failing myself, I'm failing her too. The weight of her expectations makes his healing harder. So let's shift from, you should get better so I can feel better, to, I want you to heal for yourself and I will manage my own emotions regardless. This frees them from pressure and gives them ownership of their journey. And the third consequence of emotional entanglement is burning out your energy and identity. You might think, if I try harder, if I give more, I can save them. You throw yourself fully into fixing the other person. At first, it feels like love in action, like you're doing everything possible. But over time, this pattern drains you. Your entire sense of identity shifts from me to the rescuer. This may be a sign of rescuer syndrome, which is also known as savior syndrome or messiah complex. Rescuer syndrome involves feeling the need to save others at all costs. People with rescuer syndrome tend to bring help without regard to the circumstances or the real needs of those they are trying to help. As a result, you feel frustrated, exhausted, and even resentful. You say, I did everything. Why isn't it working? Guilt sets in because their healing didn't happen despite all your effort. Meanwhile, the loved one unconsciously learns to rely on you to carry the weight, reinforcing a victim mindset instead of their own strength. Imagine your sister is depressed. You schedule her therapy sessions, track her medication, and check in constantly. If she cancels a session, you can't sleep for days. She begins to feel even my failures hurt her, and you begin to feel all my effort is wasted. The relationship slips from love into a cycle of guilt, control, and silent resentment. So let's shift from I must save you to I can walk beside you, but you should walk your own path. This protects your energy, keeps your identity intact, and empowers them to take responsibility for their healing. So, what does healthy love really look like in practice? Let's turn Rumi's wisdom into lessons we can live by. Set clear boundaries, support, but don't own the outcome. For example, you can say, I found a great therapist, here's the information if you want. This way, you give tools without taking over their life. Manage your own emotions. You can care deeply without losing yourself in the process. Practices like meditation, journaling, or talking to a trusted friend or therapist help you keep your inner world steady. Remember, your peace is your responsibility. Prioritize your own healing too. Your pain is yours, not someone else's project. True love is walking beside someone, not carrying them or living their life for them. When you heal yourself, you create the strength to love freely instead of anxiously. Rumi's insight was powerful. I am in pain and exhausted, yet my healing lies in her recovery. But in modern terms, the truth is we cannot walk someone else's path for them. Real healing comes when we allow our loved ones to grow, learn, and experience on their own journey while we walk alongside them with compassion and strength. Real love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means standing strong in your own light while supporting others in theirs. Boundaries are not walls. They are the bridges to healthier, deeper connections. Healing and love starts the moment we realize we are companions, not saviors. If this message touched your heart, don't forget to like the video. It really helps in spreading Rumi's wisdom to more people. Subscribe for more timeless stories and modern wisdom on love, healing, and personal growth. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. How do you show love without losing yourself? Let's share experiences and learn together. Until next video, stay wise and stay well.